do you want to hear one more story? That's very fortunate because we have one more storyteller, and this storyteller, like the presentation, I couldn't learn, and it's written in this case. So I'm gonna read it because I can read. Okay, I wanted to show you that I can. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much, Tony. Too. Thank you. Demetrius Jones is the person who's going to tell the story now. He's an award-winning writer, poet, entrepreneur, attorney, and creative director whose work explores identity, community, justice, and the power of storytelling. Across media, literature, and advocacy, he creates a space for people to be fully themselves. Well, you're gonna see right now because he's gonna go on stage when you give him a warm welcome. You're not gonna use him. That's completely fine.
I didn't like that song. Person here with that, but I liked it so much it became my new introduction. So anyway, this story I want to entitle Dire, but instead I called it Same Song. And that's a song, the first song that Tupac is ever on is called Same Song. And this song begins in Santorini. At that time, I was in a wonderful open relationship in this bar called the Tropicana Bar in Santorini. If you've ever been there, you probably know it. Girlfriend was really feeling the bartender. I think he was the owner. I don't know. Because I was over here with a woman that I will probably call Judy, Jay, Juliet. I am changing the names to protect the guilty. So we're going with Jay. I'm having a lovely time with Jay, and she says to me, Demetrius, I'm like, you're cool, but I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to have sex with you. You have a girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, we can just be friends because I really like your vibe. She was like, cool. But if it goes by, we stay in contact. It's great. I'm like, Jay, we're rolling the Mykonos. You go come? She's like, yes. Hold up. Let me talk to this guy I'm dating, a boyfriend. I really like him. I'm like, okay, cool. But she was like, yes. So we all end up in Mykonos. We're happy, having a good time. You know, when people are coming from different areas of the world and you connect. But my girlfriend has a headache, so she doesn't want to go out. She's like, I think I'm just going to stay in. And I'm like, well, we're just all staying. She's like, no, I'm going to feel guilty if you all stay in. Please just go. So there are two beaches in Mykonos that you go to. You either go to Paradise Beach, Super Paradise Beach. What is the difference between the two? I do not know. I think that the person who started Paradise Beach had competition with someone that said, I'll be Super Paradise. But to be fair, I do like Super Paradise better. The Greeks, unlike anyone else, know how to do a beach. Sit in your chair, you push a button, and they bring you whatever the hell you want. You get up only because you want some exercise or to get some food, but there's a lovely stage there with lovely people dancing. And I found out they pay some of these people to be there because, how do I know this? Because I represented them, and they pay them well. Whatever the case, we get there. Everything's going good, and I noticed that Jay is having a really good time with this one dude. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I was like, she got it. He ain't my bitch. But I'm also noticed that this dude is with about what looks to be about 15 other dudes. And I'm a lawyer. So immediately I go to worst case scenario. I'm like, I need to find out a bit more about these dudes. So fortunate enough for me, one of the guys, he sits down next to me, kind of I call him a gym muscle dude, where it's like, oh, he's buff from being in the gym. And so he sits down next to me, and I see this one guy on stage who's doing like this. Just keeps doing this the whole time. And it takes me probably about 15 minutes to figure out he's dancing. And I was like, oh. I was like, all right, I'm not going to judge. But I also noticed about right here, he has a bullet hole. And you've been saying, Demetrius, how do you know what a bullet hole looks like? Let me tell you, when I was 15, couldn't sleep one night. I counted how many people I knew had been shot. I knew 23 people were in this show. Including my mom, later my dad, don't worry, they're both surviving. So I knew my way around the boulevard. That being said, I'm like, okay, I got this dude next to me, Jim Muscles. So what's up, man? He's like, oh, yeah, we're all from Egypt. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now at that time, I was like, there's a lot going on in Egypt. He's like, yeah. And he's like, the person who's talking to Jay, he's either, I can't remember the team, either the minister's son, the general's son, or something like that. Well, if you know anything about Egypt, everything's pretty much run by the army, at least it was at that time. So he was not worried about where his next meal was coming. So I was like, okay, cool. Then I noticed, after I've solicited information, having been in any about myself, someone has decided to do the thing that has never made anyone's night better then or the next day. Let's get shots. I'm looking. I'm like, okay. Now, Jay's a slight woman. She's Malaysian, about this big. I'm like, I don't think, I'm born in my memory banks. I was like, I don't think she's going to be able to handle this. Now, my girlfriend at the time, we had this running joke that whenever somebody says something really racist, they always seem to say, that's not even racist. Have a Korean friend that told me, just saying, have a Korean friend told me that Koreans are the Irish of the Asians. Again, Shay is Malaysian. She is not part of this group and is beginning to show. I'm like, damn, she just toe up, flown up 2 sheets to the wind. I'm like, cool, no problem. So I go over to her because the night is starting to come in. Like, okay, wrap it up. So I'm like, yo, Jay, go after getting out of here in a little while. Cool. She's like, kid. So I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, just say goodbye. He's like, okay, quick. So I go back, sit down for 10 minutes. Come on, I'm like, Jay, let's go. He said, no. She's staying not with me, with us. These 10 unknown people, all guys. She's going to stay with them. So I look at her, look at him, I'm like, before I can even say no, he says something where I'm like, did you say what? Did you just say it? He says to me, don't worry. Let me just take her over there. I won't give her pregnant. Oh. I'm like, so I don't even have no vocabulary to have this discussion. I'm like, what you saying? And he said the shit again. I was like, wow, so this is not your first time doing this. I'm like, no, it's not. She came with me. This is my friend. Take her back. Now, whatever happens when she sobers up, that's between y'all. Well, this time, Jim Muscles comes over and he echoes his sentiment that he's coming with them. Now, I'm not arguing because this isn't an argument, but security sees this. Security guard comes over. He says, what's going on? Now, people say lawyers, like, how do you know a lawyer is lying? They're lip simple. That's what they say. These dudes were on the whole nother level. Before I could get anything out, they're like, she wants to go with us. He won't let her go. He looks at me. I'm like, man, this is my friend. She's drunk. I'm trying to get her back. She don't know these dudes. And he's like, well, to the security guard's credit, he's like, maybe we should let her decide. Now, to be fair to him, and this is where, and anyone, when I can appreciate comedy in this situation. So I was like, you got dude from the US, 2 Egyptians, and a Greek dude trying to decide about a Malaysian girl in Greece about who she's going for. That's not even racist. That's just what's going on. So I look at Jay, I'm like, please, whatever you do, get it together. Just say me. Because I'm like, I've already got 10 dudes to deal with. I was like, this Greek dude is really big. And I was like, that's a lot of people. And I have no guns on me, and I really could use one right now. But Jay, to her credit, she looks at them, she looks at me. Him. So the Greek security guard looks at the guys. He's like, and they're like, okay. I was like, all right, say your goodbyes. Let's go. Now, somehow these guys getting in their heads that, you know what we need to do? We have our black guy. We need to have our black guy talk to this black guy because these black guys will speak the same. That's not even racist. So they send this dude over here to talk to me. He's like, yeah, man, yeah, they're good guys. I'm like, I hear a slight accent. But I'm like, he's also telling me these are the good guys, the one who wants to take over here and not get pregnant. Still wrapping my mind around now. It's like, where you from, man? He's like, I'm from London. I'm like, okay. That's like, I'm from Detroit. You heard of that? And he looks at me, he's like, yeah. I was like, so this is what's going to happen. She's going to leave with me. Oh, slush. You understand? He's like, yeah, man. I understand. I was like, okay. So I get up, grab Jay. To her credit, she's not falling. She's not waffling. She's a trooper. She's coming. But at that point, Jim Muscles comes along with his boy, and they say no, and he grabs. And I had these very lovely sunglasses that the white people did, and somehow they pop off. They were like rose-colored peachy glasses, and they were limited edition. Very just about it. But I'm like, I can't worry about that right now. What I am concerned about is when I look at him, I'm like, I cannot trust this guy not to kill me. And we have a state safe where it's like you have a choice sometimes, rather to be judged by 12 or carried by 6. And so in my mind, I start to think I may have to go a place where I inflict a level of violence that many people try to avoid their entire lives. But first I have to get him off me in a way that does not trigger this brigade that he has back there. And so somehow I do this, and I say to myself, I need an advantage. And so, this is the club over here. My car is parked over there. The rest of this is just all beach, and it's just dark. I'm like, hopefully, they will not follow. So I start to walk, and I look over my shoulder, and I see, they're following. And that's when I decide I'm going to have to kill them. How can I do it? And I decide, I could do it that way. And then I was like, there's 2. I can do the 2. All right. So I'm walking. Then I see the black guys with them too. I was like, that's 3. I was like, well, I gotta figure this out because what won't happen is I cannot be a story in the newspaper in the U.S. about a guy and a girl, a Malaysian girl, that somehow drowned and nobody saw it. But my eyes met with the black dude in the same way they met that I told him, she's coming to me. And I stared. And then I see him mouth something to them. It said, and touched their shoulders, and he says, do not follow. And I think he knew what I was planning. I say, great. He was like, if I can get out of this world without killing anyone, I will feel like I've accomplished it. I grab Jay, we walk all around in the darkness, get to the car, and she says, thank you. I will get back to you. I get Jay back to the house in her apartment. She has decided in conference with Don Julio that she has to be net in order to sit. I'm like, Jay, I know. And she's struggling. I was like, I do not want this girl to fall and get her in or something. Don't forget her dress. I'm like, okay, lay on your stomach. She will not lay on her stomach. She wants to lay on her back. And I don't want her to vomit in trouble. So, how did I find this out? When I was 15, I asked my English teacher, were you ever married? Yes. I had a husband. He choked on his own body. I was like, this is a very traumatic year for you. Anyway, I finally get her to lay on her stomach, and I cannot find the key to her door. So I'm like, I cannot leave this woman butt naked with the door. I just tried to save her from the sexual assault. Now we're back in this situation. Like, okay, go upstairs, just keep coming down the other night. I tell my girlfriend what happened, and I say, I gotta go back and get my sunglasses. She looks at me. She was so stupid. Yo, stay here. And she has that look like if you go back, I may not see more. So I'm like, okay, I won't go. I go to the next one. I can't find the glasses. Come home, they're breakfast, and Jay looks at me again and she says, thank you. But this time it hits me different because I know she's thanking me for a number of things. Some of them we accomplished together. But the other part of what she did is thanking me for makes this the best thank you I've ever received in my life. Because it made me feel like what a man is supposed to. And if you take nothing else from the story, understand this. She made me feel proud because I knew it would make mom proud, my dad proud, and a boy's proud in regards to how I'm in this moment. And at some point, whatever privilege you have, whether it's male privilege, whether it's privilege against white supremacy or whatever, at some point, the system is going to knock or tap you on the shoulder and ask you to contribute in regards to that privilege. Please be unwilling to do so. Instead, support those who are on the other side of that, who are oppressed. Be willing to say no. Be willing to affirm their agency, and if necessary, be willing.
All right, all right. No, different things. It's like you're